Hey familia, Miranda here. Welcome to another episode of First Viewing, where I share my thoughts and recommendations with you guys on films that I watch for the very first time. So it is October, and today's batch is going to be pretty heavy on the horror. There are some non-horror titles that you will be seeing as well, but I do have quite the load to get into today, so we're going to go ahead and get right into things. Alright, so first up is this film here called Dolly Deadly. This film was pretty dang cheesy, but I did get some good laughs from it, and I definitely found it to be very entertaining. Basically, you have this kid, he is obsessed with dolls. Like, ever since he was a baby, he kept on to his mom's doll, she passed and stuff, and so he went to go and live with his grandma. And, well, let's just say the grandma, the boyfriend, and all of, like, the kids around, they all are just mean to him because he plays with dolls and stuff. They just don't understand, so obviously they think he's just this weird kid or whatever, which the kid, I thought he was actually pretty good, you know, just pulling off the weirdo kid, you know, kind of disturbed kid and stuff like that. He kind of daydreams a lot and just has these weird kind of doll visions. The dolls in here are definitely creepy when they kind of come to life in, you know, whatever he's like portraying from his mind and stuff like that. Honestly, y'all, I ain't gonna lie, this is probably a good film to watch if you were like totally baked, no lie. It was kind of a trip, just these things that he was like portraying from his mind and these dolls talking and the way they moved and stuff. It was definitely creepy. But like I said, it's super cheesy, but you do get some good laughs from it. And I mean, there's a little bit of gore here and there, a little bit of, you know, guts and whatnot. So it's pretty funny though. I mean, come on, the kid, he goes off killing the people that are mean to him with doll parts and stuff. So like, really gonna beat the heck out of a person with a doll and kill him like that? I don't know. It's just interesting choice, I guess. But yeah, I definitely had fun with this, and I would definitely watch it again. So next up, we have this film here called Bloody Knuckles. This is another one too that was definitely some cheesy fun for sure. Highly recommend this one. You do have some decent gore in here, some fun kills and whatnot. But basically this is more of a kind of modern version of The Hand, if you will. You have this dude, he is like a comic artist. He draws up something that offends this kind of like greedy, corrupt businessman slash gangster dude, whatever you want to call him and whatnot. And so he ends up chopping his hand off, but the hand kind of comes back to life and, you know, just kind of goes on this little like killing spree and wants him to, you know, get back at these people and get back into his drawing and all of that. And so it's pretty funny. I mean, the hand, it just does some kind of dumb stuff, but yeah, I definitely enjoyed this one and got some good laughs from it. All right, so next up we have this film here called Daughters of Satan. This one was a little underwhelming, guys. Gotta admit, I kind of thought this was going to be more a bit on the like seductive side, if you will. But basically, it's about witches. And so this one guy, he goes out, buys a painting that's about these hanging of these witches and stuff. And it's basically, I want to say, like them being reincarnated to kind of get revenge for having killed them, because I guess the guy that bought the painting, he's kind of like tied back, like his ancestors, to the main guy that off the witches or whatever. So it's pretty much a revenge flick, but it wasn't very like exciting or anything like that. It was kind of boring in my opinion. I didn't really enjoy it all that much. I wanted something else from this film for sure. So this is probably a one and done for me. All right, so next up we have Erin Brockovich. This film, you guys, I cannot recommend enough. This was absolutely fantastic. Honestly, I'm thinking this is probably my favorite Julia Roberts role yet. She was just phenomenal in this, and she was just such a hoot, her character in here. I mean, talk about like Miss Bossy Pants. But no, even the story that this dives into is very, very interesting. So basically, she gets a job at this law firm that she basically kind of like employs herself, finds her way into this job position and stuff like that. But yeah, she was just a total hoot. But anywho, she takes on this case, like she finds these just records and stuff, and so she wants to dive more deeper into this case about this gas company that has been poisoning the water supply in the like surrounding area. And so lots and lots of people got very, very sick, and it was just crazy. Her dedication to this case and getting all of these people to come forward about, you know, any sicknesses and stuff that they received or, you know, stuff like that. And it was just unbelievable, all the work that she put in. I mean, it definitely took away from her family. Mind you, she was a single mom. She literally had like no money and stuff. And so she's trying to support these 3 kids on her own and, you know, her house and all of that. and stuff. And so she also kind of like finds love in the mix, and you know, the boyfriend ends up actually being the nanny pretty much and stuff. But yeah, it's just her dedication to this case and the lengths that she went to, you know, dive deeper and stuff, and all of that is just absolutely amazing. And I mean, from all of her hard work, she actually got a settlement and everything from the case and whatnot, and it was just unbelievable. Julia Roberts, she was just, like I said, so fantastic in this role, you guys. I just absolutely loved her in this, and just the whole story of this. It's very, very interesting, guys, so I highly recommend you check this one out if you have not. Yeah, it's just kind of a very saddening case. All the people, they got sick because of this company, and they knew that they were poisoning the water supply and everything, and so it's just kind of a really messed up case. But it's just, like I said, so just unbelievable all the work that she put in, and you know, all of that. So definitely check out Erin Brockovich. Next one I have here is Trick or Treat. So this is one that I actually got at Dollar Tree. I didn't really have high hopes for it. I mean, it was decent, but honestly, it's actually rather misleading. So Trick or Treat, it really takes place on Halloween night, but there's not really much about Halloween in this film, other than like the opening scene where they kind of show you through the streets and stuff, and like the Halloween decor, and maybe a couple kids like trick-or-treating or whatever, and then like the Grim Reaper, whatever, showing up a couple times. But other than that, there's nothing else like Halloween about this film, so I don't really get why it's called Trick or Treat, to be honest. But if anything, this is more of a thriller. It's not like some crazy, you know, thriller at that, but overall, I mean, I thought it was decent for like maybe a one-time watch. You basically have this guy, his brother shows up on his doorstep after some time and says that he killed somebody and he needs help and stuff like that. And so this guy, you know, he kind of is just, he has this life that he's not very like satisfied with and stuff. And so the movie kind of tries to lead you one way, but then they kind of try to take that back when actually, you know, it really was going the route that you first thought. But anywho, still, I mean, like I said, it was a fine one-time watch for me, but it really wasn't what I would consider even a Halloween movie or anything at that. So I don't know. All right, next up we have The Girl with All the Gifts. This one was a solid watch. I didn't necessarily love it. I kind of expected more from it. Maybe went in with like different expectations from this. But overall, it was pretty decent. You basically have humanity that's been wiped out by this fungal disease that turns people into cannibals. And so there's like a group of children. They're holding an army base, and basically, I guess they're sort of immune to it. And they do all these kind of cruel experiments. But this main girl right here, she was actually really fantastic in this film, you guys. I loved her so much. But basically, she's kind of like the key element to possibly finding a cure and whatnot. And so I guess she ended up escaping and stuff. And so yeah, there's some pretty good like gore and guts in here, and you know, if you're not into the whole cannibal thing, I mean, probably not for you, because you do see obviously some scenes of cannibalism and stuff like that in here. But like I said, it was a pretty decent watch. Gemma Arterton, she was actually pretty good in here too. I really enjoyed her. She was kind of like a teacher, and she was just so fond of this girl, you know. So they have a nice little chemistry going and stuff. So but yeah, an overall pretty good watch. All right, and then there was Blades. This one, you guys, it was okay. I mean, it is definitely pretty cheesy, but kind of expected a little bit more from this, especially with the title like Blades. But basically, you have a killer lawnmower. And it's funny because Movie Collector 623, he had you know, mentioned something on my Instagram. Somebody told him this was like Jaws on a golf course. Honestly, it pretty much is kind of like that, because you really don't know when this mower is going to pop up. And the thing of it is, as you're watching this, you're not sure if somebody's actually like running the mower or anything like that. Turns out it's a runaway mower. So yeah, it just kind of pops up whenever, and you really don't get to see a whole lot of like the kills. There's mostly like blood splatter. And you may see like a couple, you know, body parts here and there. You do see a couple of, you know, legs going in the mower and stuff like that. So, I mean, I wish we could have seen more of that, instead of just, you know, like blood splattering all over the place. But, yeah, for the most part, it was an okay watch. I mean, I'm trying to, you know, find out what's going on and stuff like that. And there's even a scene in here that just had me laughing, because I don't forget if it was like sunset or sunrise or what, but they put this mower there and it looks like it's this huge ginormous thing. And then, you know, next thing you know, it's this like puny little mower or whatever. But yeah, The last part of the film kind of dragged a little bit because it's just basically them trying to find a way to stop this mower. So, I mean, yeah, it dragged here and there, but overall it's a decent, cheesy watch. Just kind of wanted more, I guess, gore, you know, more views of like the kills and stuff like that. Would have been nice, but you know, it was decent for what it is. All right, next up we have Two Guns. This one, I mean, not really much to say on this. It was a pretty fun watch. I mean, come on. Denzel and Mark Wahlberg, like, what's not to love about that combination there? Definitely some good laughs. It's basically a setup film. You know, a heist happens, and the two of them were both kind of set up by different people who were the ones that were actually wanting to take the money and stuff like that. And so, I mean, it was definitely fun. It had its funny moments for sure. I mean, the two of them, they just had some really great chemistry, and I thought that they were super fun together. And you do have some pretty good, you know, action scenes and stuff in here, but I mean, it's fun overall, and I thought it was a pretty decent watch for what it is. So got that one. Next up, we do have a Brawl in Cell Block 99. So this film, you guys, wow. Vince Vaughn, like, I've never seen him before. Like, you're so used to seeing him in all of like the comedies and whatnot, but this was just something different, kind of more of a serious role for him, and he was just a total badass for sure. This film though, you guys, it's very, very cringy. Like, all the bone breaking like sequences and stuff in here, oh my gosh, that just it's just so gross to like listen to and just see and all of that. Does get pretty bloody, that's for sure. You know, you do have like decapitations and just a bunch of just kind of like fight scenes and all of that, so it gets pretty it's brutal, you guys, for sure. And I ain't gonna lie, towards the end, like the call with like his wife and everything, I got all freaking teary-eyed. Like, what the heck? I was not expecting that with this film. But it is a very, very brutal film, you guys. So you kind of need to go into this with a good mindset and everything, and just be prepared, because it's brutal for sure. Like I said, just some of the things that happen in this film, and I was just him before he even went to jail, you guys. Like, seriously, I was just so freaking mad. I was freaking yelling at the TV like, you stupid dude. Like, he had the chance to get away, but no, he chose, you know, to get caught pretty much. And so, yeah, unbelievable. It's just everything that he had to go through, and then the way things ended, I was just so freaking upset. So upset, you guys. But this is a really, really good film, but just be warned, it is brutal, you guys. So I say check it out. Next up, we do have this film here, Knockout, with Steve Austin. I have been loving all of his filmography, but honestly, you guys, this is probably my least favorite role of his. I mean, obviously, I will keep this for the Steve Austin collection, but it may just be kind of a one-time watch. Like, I don't know, I just really couldn't get much into his role. Basically, he takes on training this kid who gets bullied and stuff, trains him in boxing, you know, just kind of shows him the ropes and everything like that, because he was like a former boxer or whatever, who got injured, and so now he's this janitor at the kid's new school, and so the kid, you know, asked him to, you know, have him teach him and stuff like that. And so, but honestly, you guys, like, the acting in this just was not great. Like, not even the kid. And I'm like, for real, like, he takes on this kid, but this kid just sucks at boxing, you guys. Like, for real. Like, no matter how hard he supposedly tries, and, you know, he just sucks, okay? So it just really wasn't good. It wasn't very inspirational like you'd think it's made out to be. So, I mean, I don't know, I just really couldn't get much into this one. Just didn't really like Steve Austin's performance in here. So, like I said, it may just be a one-time. I don't know. Okay, so moving on to Elemental. Oh my gosh, you guys. This one I absolutely freaking loved so dang much. I'm sad that I actually didn't get to go see this one in theaters. We were going to, and then just, I don't know, things didn't work out, so we didn't get to go. But boy, I love this one, and I can easily say that this is more than likely going to make my top 5 of this year. Just everything about this film, like, it is so beautiful to look at. It's just the colors and everything in here. It's just so colorful. Everything just really pops and whatnot. And the whole chemistry between the two main characters here was just absolutely freaking beautiful. I thought it was funny that Wade, he just literally cries for every single little thing. But this, honestly, I found to be just one huge little, like, love story. about these two elements that in general don't mix. And I just think that it talks or teaches you a lot about, you know, love and how there can be differences between people, and, you know, people can still, you know, find love within all of that and stuff. And you basically have Ember here, who just kind of trying to find herself, but, you know, in the mix of everything, falls for Wade and stuff, you know, finds love and whatnot. And so it's just, I guess, in a way, was kind of difficult for her to kind of, you know, juggle the two things and whatnot. But this film was just so freaking beautiful. And it seriously, like, towards the end, I was just freaking waterworks, like, the whole dang time. After he kind of, like, you know, confessed his love and all of that. And it really is just a beautiful film. And there's just a lot of great messages in here about love and also about finding oneself. And so, yeah, I just thought that this was such a freaking beautiful film. I kind of wish, though, that we got more from, like, the air and the, like, earth elements. But obviously fire and water is kind of the main thing, the main two elements that don't mix at all. And so just to kind of see that happen, the two of them mixing together here in the film was just absolutely beautiful. And yeah, I love this one so much. All right, next one I have here is The Lesson. This one, you guys, was not good. I was definitely expecting this to be more of like a kind of hardcore torture type thing, because basically you have this teacher who he kidnaps these two students because they kind of goof off and are just mean in class and everything, and so he's pretty fed up with it, and so he kidnaps them and supposedly, you know, tortures them and whatnot. Torture with just like a nail gun, pretty much. It's really not worth checking out, you guys. Unless you want to learn a lot of vocabulary words and kids looking up, you know, definitions in the dictionary, then hey, by all means, this is definitely your film. But it wasn't for me. And yeah, I didn't care to hear a bunch of definitions that I already knew for the most part. So yeah, I just not really much torture going on here. So definitely somewhat misleading film here. And next up, we do have a Rush Week. This was an okay slasher, but definitely wanted more from it. And it was kind of obvious, you know, from the beginning who the killer was. I caught on to that pretty quickly. But this is another just kind of slasher where you really only see a bunch of like blood splatters. You don't actually get to see the full-on kills or whatever. So kind of wanted more from that for sure. I mean, you get a decapitation, you maybe see a kill, but other than that, again, it's just a lot of like blood splatter. And so, I mean, the storyline is definitely decent, you know, the story is there, it's just definitely wanted more from it. So, I mean, like, it was an okay slasher. All right, next up, I finally did check out Come Play. This kind of, in a way, sort of reminded me of that film Z, with the kind of like creepy, you know, thing, whatever you want to call him. There's a creepy monster in here who basically befriends this kid, or wants to befriend him, and, you know, makes friends with him through his like tablet or whatever. First it was a cell phone, then it was a tablet and stuff, but it's definitely creepy, that's for sure. It's not like scary, but it's creepy. The character in here, what the hell was his name? I forgot. Oh my gosh, he has a name. Larry. Larry is the name of this creepy creature, whatever. And so yeah, and the kid's autistic, so he doesn't really have any friends. He kind of gets bullied and stuff like that. And so there was like an incident that happened, and so the mom has also kind of kept him from having friends as well. And so you really don't hear, he doesn't really talk at all in the movie until like maybe one word at the end. But you hear him making a lot of noises and stuff like that. And but yeah, it's not scary, but definitely creepy for sure. And I overall thought it was a decent storyline and everything. And yeah, I enjoyed the creepiness of Larry. All right, next up we have Gwen. This was an absolute bore fest, you guys. This was like a whole lot of nothing. But basically Gwen, she's this girl. She lives with her mom and her little sister. And so they have this farm that is struggling. And so basically they literally have like one mishap after another, after another, after another. And so they're trying to take their farm away and stuff like that. And it's literally all that they have left, because the dad's no longer in the picture or anything like that. This does take place, I believe, in Wales, if I'm not not mistaken. And it's definitely like older days and stuff. But yeah, this kind of seems more of like a sort of like folk horror type thing. But it was super slow paced, you guys. And it was just so boring to me. I just could not get into it at all. I mean, I feel bad for the family and everything. And the mom's supposedly sick. She's just kind of, I don't know, just a little on the weird side. But honestly, I feel like this is stuff that could possibly happen. You never know. And so sometimes, you know, like the mom, she kind of does these, I guess, ritual type things or whatever. And so I feel like maybe that's stuff that people could have done back in the day, you know, just to, I guess, like save their house, their farm, or whatever the case may be. So yeah, I found this to be kind of like a folk horror, if you will. But again, it just was not anything exciting or scary or anything at all. I mean, the only thing that I liked about this is the atmosphere. The atmosphere in this film is just absolutely great. It's stunning. But other than that, there's just nothing good about this film. All right, the next one I have here is The Woman King. So finally got around to watching this one. And I don't know, I guess I was a little underwhelmed by this. Like, it's not a bad flick at all, you guys. There's definitely some cool, like, fight scenes in here. You do got a little bit of gore. And the whole story of this, like, group of, like, warrior chicks is pretty awesome, pretty badass. I just kind of wanted more from this film, or maybe expected more from it. I don't know. There was just something in this that was missing for me to just put it over the top and really wow me. I mean, Viola Davis, she was pretty great as like the lead warrior chick, whatever. But so was the one kind of younger girl who was dropped off supposedly to, like, you know, as a gift for the king, but ended up wanting to be a warrior and stuff. And so, yeah, she was pretty good. You have some really interesting characters in here, some really badass chicks in here for sure. But like I said, I was just a little underwhelmed by this. I was just missing something to really just throw it over the top and just make it a totally awesome film. But it's a solid watch for sure. And I would recommend you check it out. Like I said, it's pretty badass. I mean, come on, a group of warrior chicks, like, what's not to love about that? For real. I will say though, there is stuff in here that has to do with slavery, which I hated that so much, especially it being like these group of people, these warrior chicks, and like this, you know, city that they're in, giving away their own kind to, you know, obviously the whites and stuff, you know, selling them slaves and all of that was just kind of very sad, obviously. But so I mean, there's definitely some delicate matters in this film for sure. But I do recommend you check it out and you know, see all the fight sequences and stuff like that for yourself, and just all of the badass chicks in here. All right, next up we have this film here called Surveillance. This one, you guys, I really didn't care for. Not exactly what I had in mind. I kind of thought this was going to be going a certain way, kind of had in mind who this like killer was going to be. So basically you have this killing spree that had been happening. And so this little girl and this drug addict chick, they kind of wind up being, I guess, like the survivors. And so they're at this police station. They're basically being like interrogated and stuff like that. And so obviously it's surveillance because there's like cameras and all of that and whatnot. You have the police people, and then you have these two who are kind of like the FBI who come in and stuff and whatnot. And like I said, I kind of had a pretty solid idea who it was, and then the twist of it, like, I just did not freaking care for it at all. Like, really, that kind of made no sense, but okay. So yeah, this was definitely a no-go for me, and I wouldn't recommend it. I didn't care for it. Next up we have The Night Shifter. So this actually wasn't quite what I had in mind, but I surprisingly actually liked it. Now the acting in this is not great by any means, but basically you have this dude, he works in a morgue and he talks to dead people, and I don't know, just kind of interesting and funny, just these dead people and like the way that they like talked and stuff like that, like the way they moved their mouths. It was weird. It was funny at times. But yeah, so you have him, he works in the morgue, and so he talks to dead people. And basically this is actually turned into a sort of like kind of paranormal, like revenge type flick or whatever. So you do have some paranormal stuff happening, which was pretty decent and whatnot. And but he does something in this film that gets a couple people killed, and so it's basically one specific person trying to get revenge on him, obviously now that they're dead and stuff like that. So I enjoyed it for the most part. Like I said, the acting's not great by any means, but yeah, I would definitely give this one another watch for sure. Last but not least, you guys, we have this film here called Downrange. This one too, I actually really enjoyed. This one, basically, this group of people, they were kind of carpooling together. They get a flat tire and they're stuck out kind of in the middle of nowhere, like a road, and just out there in the open. And there's a sniper there hiding out, basically, you know, killing them off one by one and stuff, like just for fun. So pretty crazy and kind of wild to think about. But yeah, you definitely, this one was a little intense, you guys. It did drag a bit here and there, but the whole people's like body parts getting blown off and, you know, face getting blown off and all that kind of stuff, like it was just insane, you guys, for real. And I really enjoyed this one. I would definitely watch it again. I definitely would recommend this one, but just be warned, like you do see like just things getting blown off, like body parts and all of that, and does get pretty bloody a little bit here and there, but yeah, for the most part, it was actually in a way kind of sad just seeing these people dying for like no reason at all. It was just like this person, it's literally just like a sport for them, like killing people out in the middle of nowhere. And you know, just when you think there's gonna be a survivor, let's just say gun control, you guys. Think gun control. People obviously don't really know. So but Downrange, I would definitely consider you check this one out. So that is it for today's episode. Let me know if you guys have seen any of these films and your thoughts on them. I would love to hear what you guys have to say. Hopefully you enjoyed today's batch, and looking forward to next episode, which is probably going to be pretty heavy on the horror again. So thank you so much for watching. Join the family if you have not, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.